Today we're talking about inflammation and sugar. We're always talking about sugar. Hey, it's your girl Carmelle Jean-Francois, owner and founder of Cited Coaching. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another installment of the Sugar Savvy Solution, acclimating the foodie in you to a life beyond sugar. Carmelle, what's chronic inflammation anyway? And how is sugar the main culprit? Glad you asked. Very good question. Let's say you sprained your ankle. What happens? It swells up, it becomes inflamed. Your immune system, beautiful immune system, dispatches an army of white blood cells to protect and surround the area, creating a redness and swelling almost immediately. So now it hurts to walk, so you stay off of it and eventually it heals. That's acute inflammation, not acute, but acute. It's an immediate response and is usually short-lived. But what if you didn't stay off? What if you kept trying to walk on it? Maybe you wrap it up and maybe even you accommodate it by wearing less constricting shoes, but you're not resting and you're not icing. Instead, you're keeping it in a state of perpetual injury. That's chronic inflammation. It's slow, it's long-term inflammation, lasting for prolonged periods of several months or even years. Let's hope you're not walking on that sprained ankle for years. Well, the same thing happens in your body, right? When your body suffers an injury or infections or toxins, inflammation starts to build up in our bodies. It's a normal part of the healing process. So it's a good thing, but our bodies are not designed to endure chronic inflammation. That's where the problem starts. Okay, Carmelle, so explain to me how sugar is the main culprit. Another great question. Well, consuming excessive sugar can overwhelm the liver's ability to process it. This overload leads to the production of inflammatory markers in the body. Now, that's a very simplified version, of course. Meal after meal, day after day, we're consuming all of these sugars. We're keeping our body in a state of perpetual injury, and hence chronic inflammation. Slow, long-term inflammation lasting for prolonged periods of several months to years. But don't get me wrong, sugar is not the only culprit. There are several other culprits as to why we as a culture are suffering from chronic inflammation. But before we talk about that, let's talk about how it shows up in our bodies and how we can learn to recognize it for those of you who might still be wondering. It shows up as pain in our joints, our lumbar spine, even existing injuries like herniated discs or muscles, migraines, asthma, or even PMS symptoms, and other hormonal symptoms like menopausal symptoms. And it's also implicated in fibromyalgia and arthritis, just to name a few. Other causes of chronic inflammation includes trans fats and vegetable oils like corn oil, canola oil, soybean, saffron, safflower, and even vegan butter spreads. It's all saturated fat and oil, and that includes the ultra-processed foods as well. And then there's dairy. Dairy means milk and yogurt and cheese because they're mostly saturated fats. I'm sorry, y'all. I know that stuff is hard to quit. And then there's gluten. Gluten, which would include the wheat and rye and barley products. Fried foods. Now, these foods are inflammatory because they're cooked at high temperatures, and that causes crazy inflammation in our bodies. Red meat, especially highly processed, like those found in fast food restaurants, takeout restaurants. Processed corn. Now, we mostly recognize this as high fructose corn syrup, corn oil, corn flour. This spikes up our blood sugar so quickly. Artificial chemicals and additives, the fake stuff, they're foreign to our bodies. So our bodies immediately sends out the troops. Major inflammation. And then there's sodium. Sodium we find in almost everything, just like sugar and oil, right? We find it in our chips, our canned foods, and frozen dinners. And that provokes an inflammatory response big time. So where do I start? How do I start making things better and reducing the inflammation that might be in my body? Great question. The most important thing, just start by drinking your water. And movement, exercise, plain and simple. And stop it with the soda, the candies, the pastries. Eat your plants. Let's go over what plants are. Whole grains, nuts and seeds, legumes, leafy greens, fruits and vegetables. I hope you're writing all this down because I have a few more. We can get very specific about which foods. Foods like turmeric, blueberries, dark leafy greens, as mentioned before, avocado, watermelon, hemp seeds, mushroom, ginger, beets, pineapples, all contribute. But it's also important to address and consider the other factors that may be contributing to inflammation, such as sleep and stress and environmental pollutants and movement or lack thereof. Understand that food greatly impacts the amount of inflammation in our bodies. This is why adapting a whole food, plant-based way of eating can be so beneficial. Eat your fiber. Y'all knew this was coming. But it doesn't have to be as daunting as it sounds. We can work together on this. Remember, I'm your whole food, plant-based vegan and fitness coach. I'm here to assist you in adapting this whole food, plant-based lifestyle in order to gain control of your health and your wellness. I'm your girl. Thank you for joining me for another installment of the Sugar Savvy Solution. I'm here to acclimate the foodie in you to a life beyond sugar. Don't forget to share this out to somebody that you feel might find value in what I have to say here. Remember, I am your whole food. What am I? Food, plant-based, vegan, and fitness coach. Hey, it's your girl Carmelle Jean-Francois, your whole food, plant-based, fit. Listen, I got a 6-week program coming up in just a couple of weeks. And I'm just looking for 3 individuals to be a part of this program so I can help assist you on your whole food plant-based journey. Take control of your health and your nutrition. So drop me a DM, text me, find me on Instagram, on YouTube, Facebook, wherever you find me, and let me know that you might be interested. I'm just looking for 3 individuals. We'll have a conversation.